All right, man. We back at it. I'm gonna come in, just elaborate a little more on the last video. Well, same video, just elaborate on my reaction of it. It's some parts like the power went out. Well, not the power, but the sound went out. So I'm gonna go in on that again, just to fill in the gaps. Uh, and along with this, like I said, I'm gonna be doing my own thing, but just giving you some receipts of what he's saying and time more back information from other people who are talking about the same thing, and just to kind of help glue everything together, let you know, to let everyone see that from a broader perspective of what's really going on and how we all on the same frequency, you know. So just to, it's kind of like to give us encouragement to keep going, you know. Each one teach one to spread this information because you know what I mean, this shit is undeniable.
Tria.
Right.
And to have this prediction ability to rebuild a planet
Yeah.
in itself, and they've never been able to do this without adding imaginary stuff. This is nothing but true physics tapped into
Yeah.
it.
You're talking about tapping into the real God power. Now, that's what you're talking about doing. Tapping into the God power. You're talking about right now we're a type 0 civilization. You skipped over type 1 and went straight to type 2 civilization. You know, on the scale that they have for civilizations that could exist in
Yeah,
the universe. And this is more like going into type 2. So you've really
we can
jumped
now.
past.
Like what Terrence just did is gave you a visual. Now every all this talk about the spirit and the soul and Christ consciousness and quantum entanglement and all that, it's not imaginary. You see what I'm saying? It's not so much so far fetched because he's giving you a real visual. You see what I'm saying? Like a picture says 1,000 words. Like he's giving you the pictures. You see what I'm saying? And the full breakdown, the whole blueprint of how the spirit works. You see what I'm saying? And how the God energy works and how it ties the whole universe together. So man, this is major, man. He's showing you the face of God right now, or what you want to call the Most High Allah. Have you associate with the highest form of existence? You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, that's what he's explaining right
Type 1.
We can manipulate the environment. So
Yeah.
that means transmutation. If you
Hmm.
can do this to an entire planet,
Yeah.
you can do this to any element, and every element has a prime resonant frequency by which it bonds or breaks its bonds. Those prime resonant frequencies are easily discovered, through
Mm.
resonance.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
through their light. The light forms, you can easily manipulate anything, but that becomes a threat because they've built their entire world off of inefficiency.
Yes. Yes. Everything is built off inefficiency. They monetize inefficiency. They monetize corrupt systems that don't function properly. Because if you have a system that doesn't function properly, at some point the system is going to break down completely, even though it wasn't working properly to begin with, and that creates.
now. What he basically saying is they keep the problems in effect. So now you need someone to come solve them problems. You know what I mean? It's like basically Superman going around setting buildings on fire just so he'll have something to save. And that's basically what they're doing by counting us out of this information and this technology and just the God frequency by trying to count us out of it, which you can't do because we're all one. You know what I mean? So eventually, some way or another, we were going to tap back into it, which we have. So yeah.
It's the ability for them to generate another ineffective system. And we're living in a world full of ineffective systems where we're being monetized on insufficient systems that don't really provide what they're supposed to provide. They're not giving us the maximum capacity of efficiency that we should be getting.
No, they profit and monetize.
And it's I hate to quit stopping this, but this kind of go back to what I be telling people, like when you uh when you basically ask all these questions to the Most High when you're praying to an outside source or something like that. For one, for you to pray, that's a lack of faith. You see what I'm saying? A lack of knowing, a lack of trust in what you believe. You see what I'm saying? Or it is belief in itself, which you shouldn't be doing. You should either know or you don't. You know what I mean? So the whole belief thing is a trick in itself. And then they try to correlate faith as belief, and it's not the same thing. Um, Faith is knowing something without even having, you know what I mean, the tangible evidence or even sight of you. You know because you just know. You see what I'm saying? You didn't have to. Nobody had to tell you. You feel what I'm saying? That your parents were your parents. Some things you just know. It's innate. You know what I mean? In nature. You understand? So that's what that is. So you don't have to. When someone has to make you believe, you see what I'm saying? Then that means it's out of your nature. It's not innate. You feel what I'm saying? So things outside of nature, outside of natural order, uh, are usually outside of the truth.
Of loss,
Yeah.
the expectation of falling
Hmm.
and drowning. And they're like, we're going to save you at this point. We're going to save you at this point. But they
Going back, I'm sorry, going back to what I was saying. It's basically like it's a slap in the face to the Most High, to the Creator, to say that the universe would create something. You know what I mean? Or the Creator, however you want to see it, our Creator would create a being as high as of an intelligence the Creator that created us is, would create a being that have to keep calling on the Creator for help. You see what I'm saying? Like the best vehicles, the best inventions, the best technology on the planet is self-sustaining technology. So why wouldn't the Creator create a being that was self-sustaining, that could regenerate, you know what I'm saying, and rebuild itself, you see what I'm saying, and never need any outside source for help. You see what I'm saying? That would be the ultimate vessel or being, you see what I'm saying? Or device. Because that's what we are, superconductors, the device that you would need. You see what I'm saying? To make reality come into effect. And I'm gonna get into that more in a second. Of how it all ties in, or how we tie into the four elements, and we are the superconductors that create the spiritual power. It's all comes full circle. How first is last and last is first. I'm gonna make it make sense.
have, and you put money into those bonds of saving, and you never get saved.
Yeah.
They just put it off. They put off the salvation. They put off your ability for liberty. When you'll be self-sufficient, they
Hmm.
want you still at the nipple. And when you have the fundamentals, when you have the truth about you, you don't need any of that.
Right.
What we're able to do, I'm going to go to a screen again,
Okay.
like with linchpins. One of the beautiful aspects is when four of them come together, you'll see what Tesla was talking about
Hmm.
3, 6, and 9. You'll see one, two, and then three,
Yeah.
three of the shafts bond.
Hmm.
Then the next one will be, you'll see six bond,
Yeah.
and they're about to make a magnetic bond.
Yeah.
And when I say magnetism or magnetic, I'm saying they're about to expand out. As you can see, it's expanding.
What he's talking about in the 369 method in Tesla, revealing the 369 secret. What he's saying is, whenever you join these elements together, for one, with his model, you're not trying to fit a square inside of a circle, or a cube inside of an octagon. You see what I'm saying? Or all this craziness. You get what I'm saying? Because everything that connects the universe is the same. It's a sphere. You see what I'm saying? All the connection points are spherical and meet at a trifecta. You see what I'm saying? At a three course. That's what the whole the if I'm saying it right, the not the tetrahedron, but uh his definition of what that shape is. He calls it something. I don't want to get the name wrong, but the shape that corresponds with, we know as the tetrahedron. Um, Going back to it, it's coming together at a point of a three, even though it's connecting four objects. Let me do better right there. Let me make this more symmetrical so you can understand. And this goes back to the whole concept of the tetrahedron that they do teach, which is the 3 points meeting at the center, right? All symmetrically spread. So this is the same shape that he's talking about, but he's adding the natural curves back into it. So each point, you understand, This would be a sphere. This would be a sphere. This would be a sphere. And then there would be a sphere on top of these. So if you're looking at it from the side view, this is what it will look like. It would just look like the pyramid. Those 3 points. You understand? So that's what we're getting at with this. At that center point, which connects all these elements together. These are what he's talking about with these shapes on the edge. So if on the edge of every atom, every particle within the universe, you have these connecting points that are spherical, that are rounded off, you'll always have somewhere that you can connect no matter what that element is. You see what I'm saying? Because it's the edge of the element that is the same, that is spherical. You get what I'm saying? That's compatible with the edge of any other element. That's because the walls of these atoms are made from the same substance, which is ether. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna get into that. Well, I can now. Like I said before, this is what you would call the glue, and in each one of these, if you would zoom in even more, it would be more particles. You see what I'm saying? Of existence, more spheres that are separated by more etheric fields. You see what I'm saying? That and those etheric fields are vibrating at different rates of frequencies because they're govern, governing a different dimension. You see what I'm saying? Like the first, second, third dimension. You get what I'm saying? So there's fields that lower density or lower frequency beings couldn't perceive because they're not in they can't tap into the ether that we are in. For instance, a two-dimensional being with a etheric field over them, right? It wouldn't be able to see into the third dimension, but we, being third dimensional beings, can see into the second and first dimension, so on and so forth. So, what our spirit being made from the ninth ether, you get what I'm saying, which is the highest ether, the highest number, then you have the compatibility of all the other ethers that fall under that, or all the other densities, all the other realms, all the other realities that fall under that. So once we tap into our star seed, you feel what I'm saying, our natural DNA code, our natural DNA pattern, our God mind, you see what I'm saying, tap into that ether or what you know as the Akasha records, then you can tap into this information and create whatever reality you please.
Standing from the center. And now you'll see.
I'm sorry. I get a little carried off because all this, like I said, it's all connected though. So when it seems like I'm rambling or jumping around, like I said, it's all the same information. It's stacked information because it's multi-dimensional information, and one thing can mean 12. Uh, most of the times, one thing is going to mean either three things, six things, or nine things. That's what I came to the conclusion of. So on and so forth. You know what I mean? That's how it's basically consolidating down to, because it's like I said, it's multi-dimensional, and the more you raise up your frequency and see the information for what it is, uh the more the dimensions consolidate into one whole uh state of existence, and you'll see that this is not separated. Everything, you know what I mean, I could go and talk about politics and it'll still relate to this because it's universal law, and they use universal law to make this whole construct of what we see as what we think is reality a reality, but it's a false reality because it's not built around the construct, a natural construct of how the universe works. It's been put inside lines, which are barriers. See what I'm saying? Barriers to the real consciousness, which is the etheric fields. So if you put barriers around the etheric fields, you're putting barriers around higher states of mind, which is consciousness. See how it works? It all corresponds. So when they do things out in the cosmos, it affects you down here. You see what I'm saying? On a molecular level, all across the cosmos, because you have these elements, these base elements that are like master frequencies. They're like master keys. You get what I'm saying? The building blocks that here that he's saying. You got the first four elements. Let's go back to how we've been taught it with the four corners, right? and the earth, wind, fire, water, which we know now is really uh, gas, liquid, gas, liquid, crystal, and thermal energy, all in harmony, right? So when you have liquid, gas, and crystal, right, and you have the now you have and thermal energy, those are the four base states. So they're the keys to the universe. Because when you have them all in harmony, for one, it's going to unlock the ultimate element, which once you activate that element is capable of making all new forms of existence. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the element created by the OGs, which would be the elders, ends up being greater than the elders themselves, and that's what you get the whole story is of the gods creating a being that would be greater than them, because we have the potential to have all of these elements in harmony and become like suns. You see what I'm saying? Which is plasma. Tapping into that plasma, which is it would have all the information because it has all the frequencies in one. You get what I'm saying? It's vibrating on all these frequencies at one. That's what the sun is. That's what plasma is doing. So, um, with that being said, now you have to break things down. And what Terrence is talking about is they call um, allotropes. And what allotropes are different physical forms of the same element. You see what I'm saying? So, in other words, you can be how can I put this? Uh, for instance, like carbon. There's different forms of structures of carbon. Like uh, graphite. You see what I'm saying? That you make pencils out of. These are all different structures of of carbon. You know what I mean? Diamond would be the harder one form of carbon, and then you got graphene would be the softer form of carbon. You see what I'm saying? But they're all forms of carbon. These are called allotropes. So the allotropes of um, basically what I'm saying is in terms of carbon, carbon would fall under crystal, right? So it will fall under crystal. This is not this is natural nature. You see what I'm saying? They say elements, but I'm trying to get y'all away from calling these elements because these are not elements. You get what I'm saying? Uh, these are the natural states of mind or matter, because that's what matter is. Matter is mind. You get what I'm saying? It's mind at a different frequency. All is mind, but matter is mind at a certain frequency. Um, just like gas is mind at a certain. You see what I'm saying? Or the mind is gas. It works like gas. All of it is intertwined, and you'll start to see why it makes sense. It don't just sound like I'm jumping around rambling and trying to make myself make sense. It makes sense. Trust me. Um, so you got each one that has the code for all the allotropes, right? So if allotropes are just breakdowns in different compounds, basically what it is it would be compounds of the same state of existence. You see what I'm saying? Different forms. So you're adding things to it to make carbon based elements. You see what I'm saying? Where the base of all those elements are going to be carbon. You see what I'm saying? So that crystal is going to have the codes or the frequency information for anything that can turn crystal like. I mean carbon, rocks, minerals, anything that could form as crystal. All those frequencies, that data, the information. You see what I'm saying? The coordinates of all that becomes crystal is in within those elements. It was in that element crystal. You see what I'm saying? That key element, the blueprint of all crystal type allotropes. You get what I'm saying? All allotropes, from carbon to any type of other crystal. You get me? So on and so forth. So now you got all the coordinates for where all the liquid in the universe could be. You see what I'm saying? Coming from this sphere. Same thing with the gas. All the coordinates for all the gas in the universe. all the coordinates for all the thermal energy. So when you tap into these four elements, now you have the coordinates of everything in the universe because each one of these holds the coordinates of each state of mind. That makes sense. So once you tap into that, now you could be anywhere in the universe or put yourself or your state of mind in anywhere in the universe. That's what dreaming is, astral projection, so on and so forth. So when you master the dream state, that's how you can basically break the matrix and leave up out of here because you learn to basically uh, you've learned to tap into what you've already been doing your whole life through dreaming, which is creating color, smell, touch, feel. You see what I'm saying? All this within your brain. Think about this. You know what I mean? You dream, you can have a whole world, a car, explosions happening within your mind and your brain. You could get cut open, you'll feel it, bleed, all these things, and then wake up. You see what I'm saying? And all of it will cease to exist, and your head won't even be heavy from the weight of that whole universe that was in your mind. So that lets you know that you see what I'm saying? Like this reality that you're in is just as weightless. You get what I'm saying? It's all light. So you just have you just been tricked into perceiving this as a dense material. You see what I'm saying? That weighs more than your mind itself, but it's mind over the matter because mind or the etheric field governs the matter down to the micro level. It governs the atoms. See what I'm saying? The etheric field is what puts the barrier or the protection barrier around that atom. Same thing with our solar system, the etheric field, the etheric bubble that is around our solar system that I'm about to show you is protecting us from the cosmic rays. Because too much, you see what I'm saying, when we're not ready or compatible, your elements aren't compatible to take on that cosmic energy. You see what I'm saying? It would have detrimental effects on you, and instead of raising your frequency, it would actually make you dematerialize. You see what I'm saying? That makes sense. To an extent, it would start to break down DNA in forms of matter that wasn't compatible with that realm. You get what I'm saying? It's why another reason why you couldn't just why it's not a good idea to just astral project without being fully aware of how self reacts. You see what I'm saying to environments. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're not basically in a more simple sense, I ain't gonna go out of space with you. In a more simple sense, if you a person that doesn't know what the weather's like, you see what I'm saying, in Denver, Colorado, you feel what I'm saying, in the wintertime, and you go as a Miami and dressed in how they dress in Miami, you see you see what I'm saying? You don't put yourself in the wrong conditions to thrive. You get what I'm saying? So it all corresponds with knowing the conditions and where you're trying to bring yourself into and being compatible with that. You get what I'm saying? So if you would have basically got yourself ready, which you would relate to getting yourself ready is putting on the right clothes. You see what I'm saying? Uh, Meditating. You see what I'm saying? Dieting the right way. You know what I mean? Just everything that raises your frequency, raises your consciousness. Doing that. You see what I'm saying? And because what this is doing is aligning your colors. You see what I'm saying? Aligning your chakras. And aligning your chakras is basically putting your perception into one focus point or one eye. You get what I'm saying? So what has happened is once we came out of off balance of our feminine and masculine energies, you see what I'm saying? And seeing existence itself as just light, no matter what the color of the light is. Light is light. You see what I'm saying? Because existence is existence, right? So once we got away from that and start saying, oh, I'm different because I have a different color, a different hue. You get what I'm saying? Uh, you feel like you get the ego steps in and feel like you have a different agenda than the man or the life beside you or next to you. See what I'm saying? When we all have to have the obligation to exist at our highest frequency. That's all our obligation. That's all our mission. You understand? So, like I said, we got away from that by the splitting of the feminine and masculine energy. So once it gets back together, full sphere, not just full circle, but full sphere. You know what I mean? That's when we come together as a whole and we're able to do some magnificent things. You know what I mean? But yeah. So let me just keep going with that, and I'll hop back in. Sorry for the long explanation, but I just want to make sure I cover all perspectives because you never know who's watching, and just because you explained it one way doesn't mean the person watching will perceive it in the way that you understood it to re, reiterate it. You get what I'm saying? So I try to cover as many perspectives as I can. So you might even hear me repeat some things and break it down with different terminology because everything is in reference to what you already have in your bank. You see what I'm saying? So um, it's kind of like when people say, "Oh, he ain't got no common sense." Well, common sense has, in order for you to have the common sense of the information, you have to have the knowledge has to be common. If you don't know the knowledge, then can't have the common sense. You see what I'm saying to understand it. So common sense is relative. Is all I'm saying to what you know or been exposed to, as I should say. Um, Let me get back to this.
Nine come in. And when Tesla said, if mankind understood the magnificence of three, six, and nine, he'll have the keys to the secrets of the universe. You know, this doesn't happen by accident. And it repeats that same tetrahedral form when four of them come together. And then eight of them will come to, or four of these will come together and still repeat the same pattern.
Wow.
That fractal pattern. And what's really beautiful and ties everything together, you'll see that all of these, all of them come around the tetrad.
Yeah. This is what sold me. This is what made me say, man, this guy figured out something that's so incredible, so dynamic. This is what should be on the mainstream news every night.
See, this is what a tetraene is. Well, I call it the glue. You get what I'm saying? Because once activated, that spiritual power gets activated. Like I said, it's the harmonizer. See, I pulled everything together. You know what I mean? That's the harmonizer. That's the glue of the universe. Because it's going to have the compatibility of whatever falls under that realm. You understand? So it's just like the mind over the matter. You know what I mean? Your mind is the cloud, right? Your brain, your mind is what's over this matter. It's what's controlling everything. It's what's overseeing everything. So that's literally how, like I said, you're just a reflection of how the universe is. Everything in you and how your makeup is a representation of what's going on in the universe. So know thyself, studying thyself, mastering thyself. That's when you'll start to find the truth outside of you. You get what I'm saying? Because it'll start to correspond. Everything outside of you that's happening in the universe will start to correspond with what's going on you. You see what's going on within you. You see what I'm saying? And when it doesn't correspond, that's when you know that it's total bullshit.
Night instead of the garbage that they've been feeding us. This is going to force science to rewrite books.
This is the fractal.
Yes.
This is four bonding. You know, this is a magnetic bond. Let me show you how electricity behaves. Now, instead of, and you've seen this,
Hmm.
but for the audience,
Yeah.
instead of four, now electricity is a higher density, always has a higher density, and it's always seeking a higher pressure condition. So instead of these bonding at the edges, they are collapsing the dodecahedron in the center and generating energy. So it's a greater density, but smaller, it's a smaller space. But this is why electricity has so much power because now that entire center that was here before,
Yeah.
you can see how it has been ejected and collapsed, but this still makes the form of a tetrahedron.
Yeah.
And these will keep bonding and making other structures, predictable structures.
Yeah. And this now at 5, does it have?
That's why the tetrahedron is so important. Those 3 points where it meets the Trinity. Once you get that Trinity, it opens up the doors for all other things. Now you can get a fourth, fifth element. You see what I'm saying? Once you get to the fifth, now you done unlock the key to the creating life. Like I said, because you done created the sun, you done created plasma, which is solar energy. You get what I'm saying? The solar energy creates life. So that's how it happened. This is the birth. We're talking about the birth of stars and things of that nature. You get what I'm saying? Um, Let me go ahead while we got this up. Let me see if I can kind of show y'all some pictures. All right, so right here, this is really what platonic solids are supposed to look like. Platonic solids found in Scotland, 3000 BC. Plato was born in 428 BC. So if you look closely, you see that none of these are like straight edged. You get what I'm saying? And each one is going to have some type of tri point or tri intersection, like what Terrence is saying. So there's no flaw in what this man is saying. And then if you go back, uh, like you could just use the false knowledge to just prove how accurate his shit is. Um, like right here, see the Platonic solids. This is how they try to tell you everything is built. But if you pay close attention, it's the tetrahedron or that trifecta that's governing all these shapes. You get what I'm saying? Because that's the building blocks of the reality and the structure of this matrix they got us in. So they basically, like I said, when you all what we know as magic, witchcraft, those things of that nature. For one, it's polar, so it can be used for good and bad. When you use it for bad, this is what it is. They do mirroring. All you're doing is mirroring, right? So when you want a negative effect to happen on something, uh, you do something similar to what's in its nature to be. You get what I'm saying? So you kind of mimicking it, but then you throw your own sauce in it. You feel what I'm saying? So it blocks what the nature of that thing really is, right? So that's what the whole purpose of these platonic solids, or the whole purpose of them giving us uh, this this how can I put an explanation of how it platonic solids work. So you only perceive this way. When you finally get to this knowledge, you think you done tapped into something and you got something. Well, I got the secrets. Nah, this still is just blockage to keep you in this matrix. Still walls, still barriers, still straight lines to keep you within this matrix. You have to be well rounded to leave this shit. And what I mean by that is knowing full sphere, not full circle, but full sphere, all directions. See what I'm saying? And when you keep going through these cycles, what you know as your seasons. You see what I'm saying? If you did a natal chart, they'll show you your seasons, your cycle, show you the rings within rings. But all those rings are your cycles, your life cycles, right? Your experiences coming through based off the frequency of the universe and how it pulls you into these directions and these life paths, right? So as you uh, train yourself and raise your frequency, which is, you see what I'm saying? All frequency is the rate of how many times something did something. You see what I'm saying? In a certain wavelength, in a certain span. What we perceive as man perceives, we say a time span. You get what I'm saying? But nature don't see it as time. We see it as cycles. You see what I'm saying? If you want to track the cycle and calculate it as time, you can do that. But that's not what nature intended. You see what I'm saying? It's not time. It's not going through a time. It's just going through its process, its cycle. You get what I'm saying? So as we go through these cycles, what you're supposed to do is remember your experiences. Your experiences, sis is. I always have a problem with the plural shit. But your experience. So as you come through these cycles and you're blocked off from your recall, right? When you so-called quote unquote die, or this vessel cease to you know what I'm saying, pull you, it goes as long as it could go, right? Uh they clip your memory from this state of existence or these frequencies. You get what I'm saying? So it's like once you come back, once you reincarnate, right? All this stuff becomes unfamiliar to you, right? Because you become distouched with your conductivity, right? You're the superconductor. You're the electric power. You're the thermal energy. So when you become detached from that and lose remnants of you being, you know what I mean, the energizer to this realm. You see what I'm saying? The conductor of this realm. That's when they start to use that power against you. You see what I'm saying? And they start to conduct their own reality. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, let me just tap back in it too. I don't want to lose y'all. Let me keep going. But the platonic solace, like I said, it could be used for good and bad, and what they do is use it for magic on us and blocking your perception of how reality really is. You know what I mean? While I'm here, let me go just to elaborate on what he's saying, man. See, this is how they want you to see the. This is how modern science maps out what he's talking about. See, these are different structures that based off correspondence, law of correspondence. This is how they make up these different elements. You get what I'm saying? And based off the platonic solace and stuff. Now notice how they'll tell you that these are three-dimensional, right? We live in a three-dimensional. These are three-dimensional particles. So why are they flat when they show you them, right? They're flat. Well, with Terrence Howard, with his model, it shows the real structure of these things. You know what I mean? Without you having to use an imagination and say, "Oh, this is really a such and such." You know what I mean? It's just so many gaps in this right here. Even though you can still get it and figure it out and be like, "Oh, okay, this is where you get the, you know what I mean, the structure of man and carbon." Like, okay, I get it where it come from, but it's with his model. It makes it make so much sense and uh makes simplifies on how you're able to make covalent bonds and bond other chemicals to other chemicals and stuff. It just makes it make a lot more sense without the color confusion and sticks and lines and all that bullshit. Like this right here, you know, this this area right here where these 3 points meet, that would be the point where Terrence is talking about into where a new element could come to be formed. But it looks very hard to explain just by looking at that.
Have electromagnetic force.
It's all electric. It's
Okay.
more electrically expansive,
Gotcha.
you know. So, and they'll keep bonding with other fives and other fives,
Yeah.
and on the fringes, the fours will balance themselves. But it's basically rebuilding the periodic table, atom for atom.
Yeah.
And when we place these in the solar apex, it predicted entire new relationships between stars and constellations. But it also predicts where every star will occur on the galactic plane, on the celestial plane, and the ecliptic plane. And as if you look at the colors going across the edges of these struts, those represent the individual atoms that make up the periodic table.
Wow.
With carbon or
Okay, now early in the last video, I was explaining how he basically showed you your Merkaba, right? And the shape that I called the Merkaba using his shapes he formed together, they were just a gathering. You see what I'm saying? A coordination of those shapes, those I keep forgetting the name of them, tetrahedral shapes. It's not tetrahedron. He has another name for it. But those shapes put together in a series form the Merkaba. Now, what that did is made that series that it formed. It made your DNA compatible with all the elements in the universe. You get what I'm saying? Because now you have all the in every direction it could possibly be turned. You see what I'm saying? Is within that the consolidation of those tetrahedral shapes, right? So that's what gives us our spiritual power, and that's what's in your DNA coding. You see what I'm saying? The etheric material that makes up every correspondence in the universe. You get what I'm saying? And that's why when you're formed or created within the womb, you're pulled in all those coordinated directions from when those elements come from. And go ahead and show you that real quick. Let me go ahead and back that up.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen, carbon, and silicon and cobalt
Yeah.
being on those center places, and then on the far edges of those, you'll have on the red side you have your lithium, beryllium, boron,
Yeah.
and then it just expands into the next octave, the next octave. I mean, it's a concise
Yeah.
story that's predictable and proven. Like we were able to throw it in the chat GPT
Right.
because now they're calling this the Howard comma.
Right.
Um, like the Pythagorean comma. The Pythagorean comma is that portion of the periodic table. And if you watch on that Joe Rogan thing with Eric Weinstein, you'll see we were talking about the Pythagorean comma 109.47.
Right.
Eric was saying that was a mistake, that I wasn't aware of. And I was like, no, you don't build 50 patents off of it
Right.
with it being something you're unaware of.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but it actually is an error correction code because it allows, instead of them having the platonic solids, and what they love to do is divide the universe or the earth into cubicles,
Yeah.
into cubes, and now make prediction based upon where these cubes are overlapping.
Right.
Whereas this is no longer.
See this. If you're paying attention, that's why I said a picture says 1,000 words. If you're paying attention, this is why the two perspectives on the one awareness awakens spiritual power. See what I'm saying? Or the unseen or the unknown. Um, like I said, law of correspondence is just like how this model is working. He's basically showing you um, these 3 points. Three symmetrical points, right? He's showing you where these make this a little more symmetrical so you can understand it better. All right. Now remember, these are pentagons he's putting together. And if you know any, I'm sure everybody knows by now, but in the teachings where they're talking about your house, you see what I'm saying? Your arm, leg, arm, head, your house, your body being the house. You see what I'm saying? You are the house. Or these different houses, or are when they talk about going through your different houses or your different states of mind, these are different dimensions that you have to go through, right? And each dimension is going to be a sequence of. It's going to have its own 12 sets of minds, right? You know what I'm saying? In every sequence. So with that being said, you have to each dimension is its own body, is its own house. You get what I'm saying? Uh, so as you pass through, like I said, your DNA is dimensional navigation analytics. As you get to find these correspondence, you'll start to tap into your genetic makeup. You see what I'm saying? To learn what makes you up as you pass through your houses. You see what I'm saying? As you pass through these pentagons, because your house is the body, the arm, leg, arm, head. The body is also represented as uh, the atom. You see what I'm saying? And when I say the atom, I mean particles. Particles are bodies. You get what I'm saying? Particles are bodies. Think of them as bodies of existence. Because light is existence. Everything exists. Everything is light. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm knocking at? Not what I'm getting at. So, with that being said, when you talk about the building blocks of the universe, the body of the universe, right? Structure of the universe, it's going to be broken down into these pentagons, these houses. And I always iterate to make the relation. When you talk about a pentagon, it's a good way to why you were related to the house. And when you start to study bonds and compounds and stuff, the molecular structures, you'll start to see this shape a lot, which is like a house. See what I'm saying? So there you get your house with these pentagons coming through your houses. That's it. It's not symmetrical. All right, I kind of fucked up this this picture, but I wanted you to see once you have these 3 points, right, that meet up all at the try. Anything else that comes into anything else that happens would have to be outside of this point of contact, right? These points of contact, meaning these walls right here would never meet with anything else. Only the outside would. You get what I'm saying? These inside things would never meet with any outside material until it opens up a new form, a new, you see what I'm saying? A new side. Or what you know is a new state of existence, a new form of mind. It opens up a new house. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be outside of the Trinity, right? So this goes back with the same correspondence of you, the feminine and masculine energy being united, right, by the etheric field. So now it's opening up that spiritual power, which is the sun. You get what I'm saying? How this all corresponds, how you could take one thing and teach many things with the same knowledge, with the same model. You get what I'm saying? That's how you know it's universal law. What he's teaching, you could take and just bust down a whole bunch of the different shit that you feel has no relation to each other, but we're all connected. When there's a gap, that means there's fault, there's no truth in it. You see what I'm saying? That's why you have the gap, because it's the absence of truth somewhere. As long as that shit keep flowing like water, that's when you know you're on that universal way, that universal law. You understand?
Based on the cube, this is actually based on those four corners
Yeah.
that we were talking about. These four corners right here.
This is incredible. I mean,
This is the four corners that existed that the Bible was talking about.
yeah,
The center of the earth. In order for this to exist, there's a sphere in here, a sphere in here,
yeah,
a sphere in here, and a sphere in here. And these four spheres interacting
right,
are responsible for all effects of nature
right, right.
and how they respond when other things bond.
Now for I know it's gonna be some assholes watch this, or just people that what I mean. You just confused about what you see. I know you're like, damn, I thought it wasn't no straight lines. Why he using straight lines in the pinnacle? Remember, this is the edge of this is everything is spherical. You see what I'm saying? So even though you perceive it as he's using lines on a micro level, these are spheres held together, by that tetrahedral shape. I keep fucking up the name. I need to get it locked in. Um, that's what these are, and that's what's making these points bond together. These corners bond together. All right. So that's what he's talking about. And when he says the spheres, right? Remember, we're talking about how the flower of life is, right? And how they mapped it up to give you the dodecahedron perspective, right? Using the pentagons. But don't forget that this is a flower of life. So those spheres, you see what I'm saying, that he's talking about are just on a on a microscopic level, you would see them as these shapes. Those shapes bonding and making third dimensional shapes using his model, the linchpins. So, in other words, uh, like I said, I like to beat the horse to death. But in other words, so this sphere right here, this would be a flower of life right here. You see what I'm saying? And what you would see as the flower of life, all it is each one of those spheres within that sphere, or what you know as the flower of life, one of the flowers. That would be like I said before, each one of those spheres would represent the frequency of one of those allotropes. You get what I'm saying? So you got all these allotropes within each one of these spheres. Now, does it make sense? So each sphere, each one of the four spheres is going to have all the coordination, the correspondences, um, all the frequencies, you see, all the data of everything that exists as that state of matter. You get what I'm saying? All of this allotropes, all of the properties of that state of mind or state of matter. So that's what's going on.
All of these things, and this is how we developed the linchpin. Was like, okay, well, they're not listening to it for its predictive value, so it was like, well, let's build it out and put props into those individual areas, and we'll invent tangential flight.
Right.
You
Which
know,
I saw the tangential flight from you when we had our live, months and
yeah,
months ago. But can you pull that video up, because
yes,
that blew my mind?
yes.
Because then I saw an application of the science. So it's one thing to have ideas, concepts, theories, but once you can see it being applied, it changes your concept and understanding of it completely.
Let's get it right. Well, that's some of the patents. I'm gonna just pop it up here. We'll see a four bond of their use.
Hmm.
Here's four of them coming together.
Yeah.
And out of the vortices, we've attached now arms,
Hmm.
but the four of these will now come together and lift this 50-pound barrel.
Yeah.
And then five of them will come together and pick up the five collected barrels
Mm,
because of their collected thrust.
right. This is a whole new form of flight.
Entirely new form of flight,
Yeah.
tangential flight,
Yeah.
the ability to fly around your own center of mass,
Hmm.
something
Another
they
little tip. See, and another way how you know the universe was constructed by a form of a higher form of intelligence. You see what I'm saying? Like this was strategically plotted out of just how you could calculate and break down everything. But the pentagon, another reason why I always use, like I said, the arm, leg, arm, head, is a representation of the four corners of the universe, or those first four elements, or those first four states of matter, or the highest states of the original element forms of existence. Right? You have those four things governed by the spiritual power. You get what I'm saying? So that's why that is that's another reason. I'm not gonna say it's the only reason, but that's another reason why this is the base structure of, or the construct of what we know as bodies for elements, or the bodies, or the structure of the elements, which is the body. So in other words, yeah, yeah, he just using, like I said, that's why these shapes. They say the shapes have power. You know what I mean? Because it's what they represent. You know what I mean? According to universal law, not according to man, according to universal law. You know what I mean? These shapes came into existence because the universe is symmetrical, right? So anytime you're dealing with this symmetrical shape, that started with the symmetry of the universe is going to do divine things because the universe is already divine. You know? So when you use the divine things of the universe, you know, what I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? So yeah, just had to iterate why this shape is so important and why it has so much power for good and bad. You know what I mean? Same thing with the pentagram. You know what I mean? And the 5 point star. You know what I mean? And the womb. You know what I mean? And it being a portal and how you enter, like you enter this. It's crazy. You enter this plane, this realm, right? Head first, spiritually. You know what I mean? With the higher state of mind first. That's how you enter into it, coming through the womb. You don't come in through your mother's womb feet first. But the womb, your mother's uterus, you see what I'm saying, the fallopian tubes and all that is already in the position opposite of you, mirroring you, right? That portal is already mirroring you for you to come down through head first. That's why it's pointed down. That's why she's the opposite of the 5 point star, which is, you know, you, the star seed, right? Um, or the sun, I shouldn't say star seed, which is also, you know what I mean, it's hand in hand. The sun is the seed. Like I said, it's all gonna come back around full circle, and you start to realize how last is first and first is last. It got nothing to do with social status. You understand what I'm saying? With the last is first and first is last has to do with is the same elements, right? That started you out, that created you. Um, they would end up last in the race. You feel what I'm saying? Last in the in the frame of what's the best way to say this? They would lose in the perception of power. You see what I'm saying? Of ultimate power. You know what I mean? How we perceive it. We would perceive it as it would be the lesser power, but really the original elements are just as equally valuable as the elements in things that proceed those things. If you get what I'm saying. Basically, it's like nothing is nothing in the universe has no value. It's just that just is what it is. You know what I mean? What you see is insignificant, just because it's microscopic and you don't see it. It's out of your state of mind doesn't mean it doesn't have any importance in this whole entire universal state of existence. You know what I mean? For instance, you know, we might think because we're, you know, the gods of this planet, the gods of this realm, having this vessel, the God body blueprint, um, that we're superior to things that are smaller than us. You know what I mean? Like ants and germs and stuff. But that small germ can wipe out a whole civilization. You feel what I'm saying? With the right virus. You see what I'm saying? If it's the right virus under the right conditions or wrong conditions, however you look at it. You see what I'm saying? And then you have good bacteria and things like that that can help. You feel what I'm saying? Help help nature and things like that. So as a whole, it's just like nothing is insignificant. Is all I'm saying. That thing that you're able to step on or just wash down the drain can, like I said, wipe out a civilization and so on and so forth. And we're capable of doing the same thing. So it's like that revolving door of last is first and first is last, and knowing and finding the value even in the things that you think is beneath you. 'Cause everything has value. And once you do that, find the value in the things that you think are beneath you, you start to walk on gold because you'll see that everything is precious. Everything has its value in the universe. That's what walking on streets paved with gold, or the heavens are streets paved with gold. I feel like, well, that's my interpretation of what that really means. You know, just find the value in the things that are quote unquote lesser than you or just out of your frequency. You got five elements and six forms of existence. Is how you should put it because ether itself is a state of existence, but it is not what you would relate as an element, right? Ether is not an element; it's the governor of the elements. Because ether is over a sun. You get what I'm saying? once you start to and I'm gonna pull up something to kind of pull this imagery together that I'm about to kick to you. Um, and this goes back, like I said, ties back into the last should be first and first should be last thing. Even though the etheric field, right? You have the well. Let me get back to them. Start here. Even though you have the four elements, the key elements that create what you know as a sun or plasma, right? Um, you still had to have the process of those elements becoming in harmony and creating ether. So once that happens, now you have ether having all the information of all those elements, but then you have something that's governing that ether, which is the plasma that those elements in harmony make. You know what I'm saying? And it graduates and becomes a sun in a solar system outside of the etheric field. But once you get to the highest realm, right, or the highest, what should I say, the highest dimension, well, that etheric field, there isn't no sun outside of that. You know what I mean? You stop being a sun. So then you realize the etheric field is the highest form of the highest state of existence in forms of consciousness, right? Conscious existence in form of let me see, in form of existence in within it on its own frequency. You see what I'm saying? Still within the universe, but not again completely with the one, the all. Because once you get back into the all, you just become the force. You see what I'm saying? You become a part of the force itself, and not just a conductor. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how that works. When you start to really iterate this thing, right? Like I said, the electricity is what's pulling is what's pulling the original three states of matter together, which is the crystal, the gas, and the liquid. So when you get that thermal energy, which is the electricity or the conductors, you see what I'm saying, that are pulling these things together, that's when it creates this spiritual power. So that's why on every planet or every form of existence, you have to have conductors or a God body, which is that the electric force that is creating the spiritual power. You get what I'm saying? So it all works hand in hand. You have let me make it simpler for you. If you they put you on a planet that already has crystal, already has water, already has gases. Only thing is missing is the conductor, the thermal energy, right? So that's why people are put on the planets without or life forms. I'm just gonna say life forms are put on the planet to create that electric frequency, that electric current. You see what I'm saying? To amplify that matter and basically change it into give it a spiritual nature. You get what I'm saying? And once that starts to happen and it flows in harmony, the it creates an etheric field because now you got all this information. Like I said, each orb or each state of mind has its own information. Now you got all this information into one database, which is the etheric field. That's all it is, or cloud. That's why they relate these things like iCloud, your data cloud. They're using universal law to make an artificial version of what really exists. You know what I mean? That's what this whole metaverse and the internet being a correlation with the Ethernet and etheric fields and transferring the information. It's all magic. You understand? And that's how it works. So that's how they do it on us. So yeah, man. So we're the conductors. Like I said, you have to have some type of life form or God body vessel, God body that are the superior race on any planet, any plane of existence, because they have to be the conductors. Uh, you know what I mean? The current. They have to transfer that current uh, through that state of existence to make it perceivable. You know what I mean? They're like the plug. If that TV isn't getting no electricity through it, you're not going to see no image. You know what I mean? Even though it has all the components to give you the image, you see what I'm saying? And until electricity hit that mug, you ain't gonna get no picture. How they correspond universal law and things in the universe and put it into technology that has a hold on you. Why it has a hold on you? You know what I mean? Because you have a deeper tie, a deeper, longer rooted tie to these shapes, these states of existence that make up the universe. You get what I'm saying? So that's how they're able to use use your etheric power against you. Because they know that information exists within you, within the mind, right? So they know even though you can't recall it, your subconscious is aware of the lives and the information that you have, even though you haven't tapped into it. You understand? So that's what they use against you, tapping into those etheric fields. You know what I mean? But they can only do it through tapping in through you, by you by you keeping it going, keeping the etheric field accessible, just by being who you are as a superconductor, right? By you doing that, you open up the field for them to tap into it. But by you being unaware of your power, they basically use you. They basically Trojan horse your ass. You see what I'm saying? And tap into your data field or our data field. You get what I'm saying? By using you as a key that you don't even know that you are. You feel me? So
Community hated me. They were like, "How dare you hit us with something like this?" And
Yeah.
even though I made a gift for $25,000, a reward for anybody that was able to build the flight
Yeah.
simulator with this, they were like, there were people that were saying, "You can't. It's not possible to accomplish that." And within 2 weeks,
Boom.
we had it done
Yeah.
by putting it out into the universe. And now these five. So this is the end of cranes,
Hmm.
or this will be able to greatly assist
Yeah.
in how
Yeah.
we do
Well, this is
construction and
significant.
lifting and bringing things home, and
Yeah.
they're all autonomous.
This starts making you even ask questions like, could this have been, could this technology have existed in the ancient past
It
and
had to.
potentially help to build some of these megalithic structures?
It had to.
Yeah. Because you can lift an incredible amount of weight with this technology.
Any weight that you want.
Yeah.
And then you cut to, so those are some of the innovations that we've made
Hmm.
in flight, but then you cut to what we've done in our propulsion systems. So this is the system and method for projectile propulsion.
Mm.
Now, what's interesting, instead of using any type of chemical propellant,
Yeah.
what we've been able to do based on the geometry that we have is, you'll read it in the background. It's conventionally projectile weapons are powered by chemical potential energy that is converted into kinetic energy. For example, a conventional firearm round includes gunpowder, smokeless powder, or some other propellant that is ignited by a primer, which causes the propellant to deflagrate. Well, gases from the burning propellant becomes pressurized and expand, which push a projectile, such as a bullet or a slug, out of a firing chamber and through a bore
what we
of
about to get into is electrolysis or electrosis. Let me make sure I get say that right. Cause I'll fuck a word up. You know, I do my best. I do my best. Yeah, electrolysis is the process of using electricity to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. This reaction takes place in a unit called an electrolyzer. So basically, when you do this electrolysis, when you do this and you split water into hydrogen, when you split water into hydrogen and oxygen, it it creates a combustion. It's a combustion. A combustive reaction that occurs when this happens, and that's what he's about to go into. And this same thing can happen within the human body. You know what I mean? You can combust, or you know what I mean, activate your fire within. This is basically tapping into what you what some people might correlate with, like fire bending and water bending and all these things. It's you tapping into, like I said, the codes of the elements, or basically tapping into all the allotropes of uh given element, whatever that is. You know what I mean? So once you know all the allotropes of thermal energy, then you're able to do what you know as bending. right? So this is being in control, in full control of that. Like I said, these states of existence or states of matter are states of mind. You get what I'm saying? So in the thermal state of mind, right? The electric state of mind, that's when you amplify things. And then when you get into the etheric state of mind, right? Or the plasmic state of mind, I should say, when you operating like a sun, that's when you done tapped into all the forms of matter. That's when you're able to manipulate matter. That's when you're able to shapeshift. That's when you're able to you get what I'm saying? Because you have access to all the information. That's what the sun is. It's all the information put into one.
A gun barrel. While chemical based projectile weapons have been the standard for hundreds of years, the small amount of propellant that can be practically placed in the small volume of the firing chamber limits the propulsive force that can be generated and therefore limits the speed at which the projectile can be fired and the distance that the projectile can be shot. Well, the summary of this disclosure, and I'll just read this first paragraph. The present disclosure describes.
Yeah, electrolysis. So using electrolysis, you're able to create a combustive reaction by separating oxygen from hydrogen using electricity. That's what electrolysis is. So that's what he's explaining, and with in doing so, you create, um, and this is what I know from another study, where they took a hydrogen bubble, um, and hit it with a with a stream of light, a laser. You know what I mean? Which is like hitting it with an electric charge or thermal energy, and it collapsed the bubble. And when it collapsed, it let off a spark that was the same temperature as the sun. It's like 5,000 Kelvin or some crazy shit like that. So like this is like that's plasma energy. You see what I'm saying? So a plasma beam is what he's talking about, or what you know as a laser gun. Same thing. You get what I'm saying? So this is the potential of plasma energy being used in this wrongfulness. You see what I'm saying? It can be used to destroy things, but we all know plasma energy is the sun. It create things. You know what I mean? Create life, sustain life, so on and so forth. So that's what he's explaining right now, and it's not far fetched what he's talking about. What he's talking about actually already been done uh, with like combustible cars that run off water. You know what I mean, and things like that. Of course, the people that been killed, silenced for um, putting out the technology, putting out the information about it. But it does exist. It's not far fetched, um, and it's which what the world should be. You know what I mean, leaning towards running off of. Um, one of the sciences, anyway. Like all this stuff is tying back into the Tartarian times. You know what I mean? And it explains well pretty much all the knowledge they knew and why the times was like that, because they was into the science of the ether.
Systems and methods for projectile propulsion, where the propulsive force is applied by an electrically overloaded capacitor, which causes a portion of the capacitor to explode and generate an explosive propulsive force to propel a projectile with substantially more force and at a substantially higher speed than is achievable by conventional powder based rounds. So we're basically able to take water and having it in a small chamber, and basically like if you were to think of an ice chest, if you were keeping ice
Yeah.
and you apply an electrical current, you can apply 1,000 volts through the same aperture that you can 1,000,000 volts.
Right.
And now with our geometry, that now is
Yeah.
able to sustain that force. And since the water wants to evaporate or wants.
When he says our geometry that's able to sustain that force, it goes back to what I was telling you about the strongest structure in the universe being that tetrahedron shape, or that uh, I always forget the name of this thing, but that shape, that three pointed shape, or the tetrahedron itself, we're just gonna say the tetrahedron. It can only be destroyed from the inside out. So it's a lot of pressure and force could be put onto this shape, is what he's saying. So if you make this shape the building blocks for anything you build, you feel what I'm saying? You build a car and you just like they put rolling cages in cars. Well, if with that whole rolling cage was a series of these shapes, you get what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. Of the skeleton of everything that we build, we're structured off these shapes. Homes, cars, all types of stuff that we need to have long life structures could sustain through using this method, using this model, using these shapes, and that's what he's about to talk about. Like um, people always speculate, well, if we had a laser gun, that shit would like uh, melt the gun when it shoots out, or it's too much power, it would explode the object. Like you feel what I'm saying? He's showing you that this structure absorbs all that and takes that out of the equation.
Wants to evaporate at 1,700 times its normal volume, and it's unable to do that. Now that becomes cube,
Mm.
and so it immediately skips a gas station.
So sorry to keep stopping, but one thing like which is so special about the structure of that, and remember what we're talking about. We're talking about the building block of reality in the universe and how strong it is, right? So this is why the mind is so much stronger than reality and matter itself. You get what I'm saying? And why it governs it. It's because what it's built, so the structure of what it's built off of. It's the strongest, you see what I'm saying, structure in the universe is what your mind is is built from. You know what I mean? The particles in that gray matter, because that's what's in your brain, that's firing off in your receptors. That gray matter is made up of ether, and that ether is made up of nothing but the building blocks, the mortar of the universe, the glue of the universe.
State
Okay.
that it typically would go to, and it goes to a plasma state.
Wow.
And in that, it converts the gas state into a discharge, and
Right.
it's basically lightning out of the barrel.
Gotcha.
So, depending upon how much electricity you run in through one thimble of
Yeah.
water, you can send something into space,
Wow.
or you can, send it outside of the solar system.
Right.
It's able to launch, and that's the goal, was for the linchpins to be launched into
Wow.
space.
So this would be something like riding a percussion wave. So is it something like you send the charge in and you create this expansion through this plasma, then you do it over and over again and it rides this.
Yeah, you put it on a sustained thing. But if
Right.
you think about, I'll give one secret away.
Okay.
If you think about Victor Schauberg's example of the fluidity of
Yes.
how water is supposed to move,
Mm-hmm.
now you're able to get an internal interaction
Gotcha.
that's sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
and then you provide a way out.
Gotcha.
So we're able to, it's basically lightning out of the barrel. It's
Yeah.
ray guns,
Man.
and then we patented it as a gun,
Yeah.
but not because we were trying to make guns. We wanted to prevent anyone else from being able to make it as a weapon.
Gotcha.
But there's nothing that can stop this
No. The applications are almost endless. Even running a combustion engine.
off of this.
Yeah. Yeah. You can
So
turn. You can push the cylinders. I mean, this is crazy.
we're there with so many different innovations
Mm.
that has affected so many different fields,
Yeah.
and we have the proof, and it makes geometric sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The universe gave us the ability to recognize the genetic coincidence of symmetry,
Mm-hmm.
so we would know that something is healthy,
Right.
so that we know that it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
And we've lost that recognition that, okay, the eyes should be around the same place, the nose should be in the right place,
Right.
therefore that means that their organs are in the right place and it'll be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we have the genetic or the um, symmetrical similarities, and the harmony associated with this that registers in our eyes. It makes sense putting it together. Now we've innovated multiple fields with it.
Yeah.
It should be explored. But when I went to the black universities,
Mm.
because I was questioning one times one,
Yeah. Right.
I went to Morgan State and did
Mm.
an entire presentation.
Wow.
No one from the engineering department showed up.
Mm.
From the physics, from the
Yeah.
chemical, from all that. We had to bus in students
Wow.
from outside
Yeah.
to be there. And I shared these things there.
Hmm.
But that was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
And none of the black universities. And so I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So now, because all of this stuff is patented,
Yeah.
I don't have to share it
Right.
with those universities that were unwilling. But what does that do to
Yeah.
black people?
Yeah. It just holds us back even further. I mean, the opportunity was there. Sometimes we can't see the opportunity when it's standing directly in front of our face because we've been so systematically put into this mindset or this mental prison. And we want to follow the system exactly as it's been laid out for us. We've been institutionalized in that way from birth all the way through adulthood. So now here you come with the keys to the universe, and they're blind to it. It doesn't even exist in their eyesight. They can't even see it, even though you put it right in front of them.
And that's the most heartbreaking aspect
Yeah.
of it. If I want to,
It's crazy because it go back to what I was saying. Like they can't see it because it's right in front of them. You feel me? They can't see it and it's right in front of them because their consciousness. You see what I'm saying? Their ether. They haven't tapped into that frequency of ether yet. You see what I'm saying? To where this is even a reality. There's some people that hasn't tapped into like this reality that we're living in. It's not a reality for them because it's out of sight, out of mind, and that's how you perceive things. Once you put it in your mind and you envisioning it, it done been created. You see what I'm saying? It exists, even if it doesn't exist in your time, in your reality. You perceived it, you envisioned it, it done been created. You understand what I'm saying? The possibilities of it existing it's out there. It's in the universe because it already was and forever will be. You see what I'm saying? So when he says things like that, like those people, they just couldn't see it, is because they're just not on the frequency. You know what I'm saying? For them to perceive it, they ain't high enough to see that. Hot damn! If I go a little bit further, this road gonna dip into a hill. You know what I mean? You have to be at a certain height to see that. I see it once I get over this tree line, it's gonna be a lake that I gotta cross too. You know what I'm saying? So
to to explore some of the magnetic field,
Hmm.
even, and that's with the opposite of the linchpin. This is me expanding the linchpin out or the tetrient to its fullest place,
Mm.
and it become mirrored all shapes. But this is the magnetic field. This is predicting every particular waveform.
Hmm.
Inside of this is a water hammer. It's a transmitter. It's a receiver. It
It's a fractal of DNA almost to me.
you
Incredible. Yeah.
see, Billy, no, he just ain't trying to tell his secrets. But that's what he's showing you. This is what when when you stretch out your Merkaba, this is what it's really supposed to look like. You see what I'm saying? Instead, this is what this is what it's this is what they want you to come back and think you have to keep living these lifetimes to you feel what I'm saying, to recollect yourself. You see what I'm saying? To raise yourself to that frequency, that you have to keep dying and coming back. You get what I'm saying? To live through those generations. But all you have to do, you see what I'm saying, is die daily. You see what I'm saying? Die spiritually. Kill the worst of yourself spiritually and raise that frequency. You don't have to die physically. You get what I'm saying? As long as you're living through these cycles, experiencing through the mind itself, you don't have to go through it literally. You see what I'm saying? Then you're able to raise your frequency without having to die. There's some people that have to die to learn. You see what I'm saying? Not to touch that fucking hot up. You feel what I'm saying? When the eye is red, nigga, don't touch that. Some people that have to die to learn that. So if you're able to have them not have to die to learn to gain more wisdom, that's how you raise your frequency. You get what I'm saying? And you start to hot damn circle around all those different life paths until you become full sphere, not full circle. Circle is just one generation. See what I'm saying? So how can you go through repeated life cycles on the same generation? It has to change. It has to rotate. It's revolving doors. You have to cover and ground every corresponding perspective for you to become whole again. You see what I'm saying? And that's what he's showing you when he said this is all the waves. You see what I'm saying? In this wholeness, this is basically like I said the if you was to take your Merkaba, which is the Akashic records. You see what I'm saying? It has all the information for all the building blocks of the universe. It has all the potential for all every potential. You see what I'm saying? Like it's that. You get what I'm saying? So that's what this is. And once we tap into that, which has been fractionized and we've been cut off from it, you see what I'm saying? We only told we have 3 strands of DNA and you have 12. It's things that like that block you off from those higher etheric realms or states of mind. You see what I'm saying? So you can't even tap in and get that those cosmic frequencies that you're supposed to. It doesn't resonate. You see what I'm saying? They're cutting off your receiver. They can't cut it off completely, but they could goddamn disrupt the what's a better way to say it? Basically move the antenna. You see what I'm saying? To where hot damn first it was hot damn 2 miles distance for the information across. Now they move the antenna so the correspondence with that. You see what I'm saying? Every time you move it, the correspondence has to change. So that's what they keep doing. Blocking your receiver. You know what I mean? Blocking your antenna from receiving the information passed to you from higher realms, which is nothing but your higher self, because we're all one. So if you're saying you're tapping into a higher energy, right, or your higher self in another realm, that's just tap into the higher us, the better us. You know what I mean? That you have the right to individualize because everybody's on their own frequency, but the end goal is to get back to uh, a unified frequency. You know what I mean?
We call it transcendental lighting. So what are we doing now?
Right.
To explore some of the magnetic field, even, and that's the with the opposite of the linchpin. This is me expanding the linchpin out or the tetrary into its fullest place, and it become mirrored all shapes. But this is the magnetic field. This is predicting every particular.
So they become mirrored all shapes. You see what I'm saying? Like a mirror. That's all this is. It's all mirror. That's what they call it, mirror magic, because we're all just reflections. Reflections, reflecting off particles, reflecting off other dimensions, reflecting off. You know what I mean? Light reflecting off of light, creating different paths, crossing the paths, and creating new elements, creating new forms of existence, new states of existence. They took a fraction of this and told you that's your DNA strand. And we all see the different variations of what your DNA could really be.
Particular waveform inside of this is a water hammer. It's a transmitter. It's a receiver. It's
a fractal of DNA almost to me. Incredible. Yeah.
We call it transcendental lighting. So what are we doing now?
Right.
Why are we still in this hidden space? I'm gonna close this up now.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't.
I know you had touched on the error correcting codes, and they were talking about the Terry comma, which is kind of like a quantum error correcting code, right? So let's talk a little bit about the error correcting codes. For those people who don't know, I wrote a book called Fractal Holographic Universe, and in that book, I use some of the science or reference some of the science from Professor James Gates Jr., who really is a master in supersymmetry and theoretical physics. And he did some work on error correcting codes. He actually discovered these things called Adinkra codes.
Yeah.
Right. And these Adinkra codes, and you take these patterns, you put them into a 3-dimensional space. There's this mathematics encoded into them. And these mathematics are called error correcting codes. What he discovered, though, these are the same codes that are running the universe, but also on the smaller scale, they're the same exact error correcting codes that run search engines and web browsers.
See, this tie back into what I was saying about them mimicking the real etheric fields with artificial versions of it. See what I'm saying? Like what he's saying is these codes make up our universe. No, these codes make up how we currently perceive the universe. But it's not actually the codes that how the universe actually is. See what I'm saying? And that's the thing you have to realize. Like all this geometry, sacred geometry, they were just codes put over the real reality. See what I'm saying? It's like a veil. That's what they call it, a veil. You know what I mean? Or a net. It's just it was put over the matrix, put over your shit. You know what I mean? A screen. Or basically a virus put into your computer system. They give you a perception of a false reality. Make you think you hot damn you think you on YouTube, but you on goddamn you know what I'm saying, blackpeoplemeet.com some shit. Cause they done overlaid your whole, you know what I mean, your whole skin of what it looked like. You think you on, you feel what I'm saying? They didn't give you the Instagram screen, skin and whole setup platform, but you on MySpace. They didn't even know it. That's what they're doing with this code. So when he said he mapped out and he got the coordinates of these codes and that make up the universe, it makes up the universe of how we perceive it. Because with the codes set in place, you can only perceive things. You see what I'm saying? And how your mind done been constructed to perceive. Basically, to how they don't rewire you as a superconductor to basically manipulate the conscious the consciousness around you or the light around you without you even being aware of it. That's what's happening. They're using you to manipulate the light so you see what really ain't. Makes you wonder what this shit really look like. You know what I mean?
So the universe as a whole is running on the same exact coding that we're using to run search engines and web browsers on our computers and phones.
Or they're trying to, because
Yeah.
half they're one of the things Alan Watts said, the thing that takes us so long to gain an education is we typically we look at the world and we take it all in as one big thing, one big picture. But when you're learning about the world, it's all laid out in these lines.
Yeah.
And you've got to read each line on each page, and it takes so
Did y'all a little picture too to help you. Like I said, to keep coming too. I'm gonna cover all perspectives to help you kind of even further get what they call these the four corners of the universe and how they're put in harmony with each other. If you was to take a sphere and to cut it into a fourth, right, like a watermelon shape, it would be a shape. I so so if I was to take a sphere, right, and I was to cut it into one fourth, basically taking this ball, and this is cut in the 12, the zodiac, right? So I was to take this and cut it into one fourth, just one fourth of it. Make sure I got that in the camera. Okay, there we go. You take one fourth of that. Now you're gonna have a chunk of this whole sphere, right? You're gonna have a chunk of that watermelon slice, right? So if you do that in the four sections, right, and then you take one of those watermelon slices of this whole element right here. This is crystal or earth. You know what I'm saying? So this is earth. Taking the what they call the element. Like I said, this is this basic states of existence. Don't get them confused with elements because fire isn't an element. So how can you call fire element? It's stupid. It's thermal energy. But anyway, going back to that. So once you cut one of these out, so let's say this is all earth or all of one form of matter, and you take a fourth of it, and then you take a fourth of water, right? And then you take a fourth of thermal energy, and then you take a fourth of the gas particle, and then you put them all back together as one sphere. You see what I'm saying? Put together by that glue we're talking about, which is that tetrahedral shape. You get what I'm saying? That's when you get a whole new element, which is plasma, which is the sun. You see what I'm saying? But those first three elements joined together with that thermal energy is going to create a that glue that puts them together is the ether itself. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you have to that would be what they call they perceive it as the arm, leg, arm, head, and try to tell you that the ether is the fifth element, but ether is not the fifth element. Ether is the neutralizer. Ether is the governor that ties all the elements together, holds them all together. Without ether or your spiritual nature, you see what I'm saying, you fall apart. And that's how you get evil people. You see what I'm saying? Because they fall out of tune with their nature, right? So stay within your nature. That's the glue. Stay within your spiritual essence. That's what's going to keep you held together, and keep you in correspondence and in harmony with the outside elements or your other zodiac signs. They say you're a fire sign, you're a water sign, you're earth sign. This all corresponds with this. You see what I'm saying? And it's people that you don't get along with within that zodiac because you're not in alignment with your spiritual nature. You see what I'm saying? Your spiritual power. You tap into that spiritual power, it's going to help you align with what you say you don't get along with, or you don't react good with, because he showed in the model that everything is capable of being bonded with one another. You see what I'm saying? And based off how you bond them and the points of correspondence of when you bond them, you see what I'm saying, is going to determine the reaction you get, and this all could be predicted. So when you know how your elements, when you know full knowledge of self and knowing how your elements react, you see what I'm saying? You know what conditions to put yourself under so you don't react maliciously. See what I'm saying? See how it's all alchemy? When you get mad, when you get angry, when you get sad, when you go through all these states of emotions, you see what I'm saying? That's because you were put on the under the wrong conditions. You see what I'm saying? To be in your rightful nature. So yeah, that's simply put, that's how you know what I mean, become full spirit, become well rounded. You know what I mean? You come in, you learn as a fire sign, learn your opposite, which might be wind. You feel what I'm saying? So you learn to live in harmony of that. You go through those cycles of everything that's fire. You learn all the, like I said, all the frequencies of your thermal energy. You feel what I'm saying? And how it corresponds with your mental energy. You see what I'm saying? Your wind, your air. So you started how damn you get that in alignment. Now you got to go on into the next phase of you, which is a whole nother zodiac. You see what I'm saying? Pick up all those frequencies and how they're in harmony with each other. So on and so forth. Until by the time you done lived all your lives, all your cycles, see what I'm saying? Then you done made a full sphere. You done covered all these lines are gonna become this whole ball. If you was the correspondent with how I'm doing this, each line is a life path. And eventually, by the time you're done, this whole ball is supposed to be black because you know filled every line, every path of existence. That's how you become part of the Holy Spirit. You have to become whole. You understand? Or become a son, because that's also what this is. This what this represents. Like I said, once you become a son, you become a portal to where you can tap into any dimension. See what I'm saying? From sun to sun. If it's the sun in the fifth dimension, you feel what I'm saying? And you're a son, then you could correspond with that sun because you have everything in you to be a son. So you could just tap into the frequency of that sun, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? If I knew everything there is to know in existence about a rock, there's nothing you could do from making, you see what I'm saying, to stop me from changing myself into a rock. You understand what I'm saying? But I have to know all the correspondence of how it works. You know what I mean? Or have the information or and the desire to do so, and it's gonna happen.
So long
Yeah.
for us to understand. We can't just go to the end of a book and pick it up and have the picture or see a
Yeah.
overall picture of it.
Mhm.
we have to go through all of these millions and millions of miles of lines
Yeah.
of information because they've laid it out linear.
It's how they try to do me in Mason. You know what I'm saying? I joined the Scottish Rite Masons in like 2017 and shit. Of course, no longer representing that shit or whatever. Kill me, slay me, prosecute me, stone me, do whatever you got to. But anyway, yeah, man, they try to pace you out on the knowledge and your understanding. You feel what I'm saying? And then they tell you dumb shit like a wise man knows he knows nothing, which is stupid. You feel what I'm saying? Because if it's nothing, you can't know it. It ceased to exist, so you can't know nothing. See the illusions they play with you. But it's like they try to pace me and then like they make you pay dues. You feel what I'm saying in the different degrees. So it's like nigga, you paying for a car that was stolen from you, trying to get it back. They want you to buy your own car back. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's what this information is. This is your vehicle on how to maneuver through the states of existence, these planes of existence. So that's what knowledge is. That's what the ether is. That's what the Akashic records is. So without that information, you don't have your vehicle. You don't have your Merc. You can't activate your Merc, which is your spiritual vehicle. You know what I mean? And it's just an expansion of the etheric power that's already in you. You know what I mean? That quote unquote star seed that's already in you. Once that expands, you know what I mean? Due to the pressures and conditions you go through and the magnetic frequencies that you go through and raise your consciousness, it is going to expand. You feel what I'm saying? Through the science, not because I said so or the Bible or religion says so, because science, that's what happens. You see what I'm saying? Things under pressure and magnetic frequencies and conditions in different states under the proper conditions or improper conditions determines your physical state. So it's that simply put.
Linearly
Yeah.
and are no longer doing it based on how the universe does it, a whole grand picture. You're thrown right into the water and you become hyper aware of everything around you. That's what how the universe is supposed to behave with it. So they're still
It's a little insider. I that's what I was getting at. Like, I learned more in one night. I got more information in one night off a shroom trip than I did out of uh my whole journey of researching and finding the truth. It was in that one night that it all came full circle, full sphere, I should say. And it made sense. It made life make sense. So what he's saying is like if you was to get it all at once from day one, and then able to affirm what you was given through living your life, then that would make life more easy. But instead, they give it to us backwards. Like, yeah, like figure this shit out, and then as you figuring it out, you have to let you see what I'm saying. Life happen to affirm it, but it shouldn't be like that.
they'll have different patterns for okay, we'll do it as a dodecahedron
Yeah.
and we'll have these and they'll act like Feynman diagrams and
Right.
we'll try these out
Yeah.
and then we'll try the tetrahedrons together, but they'll only give us so much. And they were used to, when I was studying civil engineering, I remember there was an error correcting code
Mhm.
for every 10 feet of of rope that we had or of measuring tape. We had to account for 1 inch of sag.
Mm.
And then we had to take into account the wind and if there were any weather conditions on it. But these error correcting codes would kind of give us an approximation, but it still never gave us what the linchpin
Yeah.
and these wave conjugations
Because that's
are
perfection.
able to bring
That's
in.
perfection. And so the point I was trying to get to was that with the quantum error correcting code, which is what I love the name, the Howard comma, it's a good name. I mean,
I'm just hoping that I'm doing the research to see
yeah,
if Howard is my true last name
yeah,
or if it was the name of a plantation.
okay,
If it was the name of the plantation that my family
yeah,
was disenfranchised and owned
mm,
at, then it won't remain the Howard
I
comma.
understand that. I get that. Trust me. But what's interesting is though I looked up some science, and I want to read directly from what I was able to pull up based on putting your information into the database and seeing what this system would spit out as to what are some of the potential inventions or revolutions that could come from the QECs. And what I found was just amazing. And we'll talk about this a little bit too. We'll talk about maybe some of these and just expand on them. Like the first one is faster than light uh, communications,
Yeah.
FTL communications. We're talking about quantum entangled communication, leveraging the Howard comma as a natural quantum error correction tool. This FTL communication system could enable instantaneous long distance messaging by keeping the quantum state stable over vast distances. And that's really been one of my dreams, actually, is to be involved in some kind of way creating this or being involved in a company building a quantum communications device. I brought this up to you before I even knew you were going to
Yeah.
send me that science that you sent me the other day.
Yeah, and we didn't. This Chris Seeley put into. There was a paper recently written. I'll get.
Going back to what I was saying about the four corners, just while I'm thinking about it, slipped my mind. uh, and how this corresponds, right? You got the four corners, right? So if you was to take, let's put in perspective the feminine and masculine energy, right? So if you take those four base elements and you got matter, which uh you got a solid, which is matter, which that would be represented as a masculine energy, right? You got that masculine energy, and then you got it balanced by another feminine energy, which might be water, right? And then you got fire and air, which is masculine, feminine, right? Okay, so if each one of those circles are representation of the feminine and masculine energies, you see what I'm saying? In balance, then that means when you put half of it and half of it together, you see what I'm saying? Those are those two parts of the brain in harmony of each other, which is all your elements in harmony of each other. You get what I'm saying? So fusing or balancing the feminine and masculine energy, it corresponds to all this. You see what I'm saying? And it goes deeper than just your emotions. The shit is a manipulation of the elements that's going on within you. You see what I'm saying? In the universe, and how you can correspond with them by balancing yourself. Because what you're doing is putting all those four corners into one perspective. You see what I'm saying? Giving you the power of the Father, Allah, arm, that leg, arm, head, power of the Most High. So I just wanted to reiterate that, so you get a full concept of. It just came to me to do. It got nothing to do with what they talking about, but yeah, it just came to me to throw that in there, man, so y'all get a better understanding. You know what I mean? What this four corners mean, and how the four turns into two halves, which become one, and it's all a representation of the feminine and masculine energy balancing itself out through its spiritual nature.
In the paper, they were comparing the Pythagorean comma to the Howard comma,
Yeah.
or what they're calling the Howard comma, and showing that they were two separate things, but that it actually pulled it together. So he pulled this into Chat GPT,
Yeah.
and Chat GPT began to rebuild the universe, or have a picture of
Yeah.
laying out a framework for universal potential under different conditions.
Yeah.
And it came up with this Howard comma,
Mhm.
this error correcting code
Yeah.
that is better to able to do faster than light travel. Like, one of the biggest things that would be a hindrance in faster than light travel is you got to go through different areas of the universe where there's noise.
Mhm.
And in that noise, based on their uncertainty
Yeah.
understanding and Schrodinger um, equations, in which they
Right.
try to under the probability effect of those things, where they're trying to understand.
That's what I was getting at with they fucked up ass equations and shit. Like we that's what I was getting at earlier. I'm sorry, it slipped my mind. It's the weed. Blame it on the weed. Anyway, uh, what I was getting at is their means of how they break down this whole shit. They try to tell you with the zodiac is, which is how we keep up with our nature, our own nature, and how it corresponds with the moon and the sun, and the mirroring of those energies. So if that if the calculation or the data, which gives us days and nights and months and years in correspondence with with what they gave us, which is in correspondence with the zodiac, then those calculations have to be off because they're all approximations. You see what I'm saying? And I have a more accurate what I feel because it all adds up. You see what I'm saying? Using the 369 method, I have a calculation of what days, years, and minutes, hours really should be, and how it would really correspond with the moon phases, um, like I said, the months, years, the moon phases, the and your just your nature as a whole. You know what I mean? Um, so when you put that into perspective, a lot of things are off that we're doing. You see what I'm saying? And we wonder why. You know what I mean? We hit in a ballpark sometimes, or we can't quite get our intuition to a frequency of um, uh, what, uh, telepathy or psychic abilities. You see what I'm saying? Because of these blockages that they put in place. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to reiterate on
and the universe,
Mhm.
and it's through canceling out what might have happened
Yeah.
instead of being able to go directly to the source. Like in Star Trek, Scotty came up with the ability to do trans warp.
Yeah, they go through a transwarp. So the Borg gave them the idea, I think, in one of the seasons episodes of a different version of
That you
Star
can
Trek.
be at warp drive and
Yeah.
still be able to transform or whatever. I forgot what that's good. Beam me up to be able to beam, at trans warp.
Right.
That was a big theory thing,
Teleportation.
teleportation
Yeah.
in there. I'm like, oh well, we're the means by which quantum entanglement takes place. It's being able to lock into
Hmm.
another particle or another position.
Hmm.
You lock this spaceship into here.
Yeah.
You lock it with this particular tone,
Hmm.
and now the linchpin or the Howard comma is able to keep communication and is able to predict where this particular object or particle
Yeah.
will be and be able to maintain subspace communication.
Right.
It doesn't matter the speed at which
Hmm.
it's traveling at
Right.
or its position or what field it's going through.
Yeah.
It's able to predict all
That's crazy.
distribution of matter.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It doesn't get it, you,
that. See, this is another key to how the universe isn't in straight lines, and everything is based off spheres. You feel what I'm saying? And uh, the energy um, given off of these spherical motions and these spherical objects. You know what I mean? This is what he's talking about.
I don't care what they've been doing in these universities.
Yeah.
None of it comes up to this. If I'm gonna throw modesty aside,
Yeah.
it doesn't come up to this. This is the fractal.
This is it.
This is the entire subspace of we have defined the electric force,
Hmm.
the gravitative force, the contractive force of the
Yeah.
universe, the micro, and patented it
Hmm.
and have proven out subsystems in it. We've defined the magnetic expansive force
Hmm.
and have patented those
Hmm.
and have built systems on it and have proven them out. And we've patented the
Now,
common factor, the constitution between it,
Hmm.
which is the linchpin, which is creates its own thing. It's like this
Yeah.
is the gift that mankind has been waiting for.
This is it.
But what do they do with it?
Yeah.
They will keep kicking it to the side until I'm no longer here and they'll think they'll walk through it. I didn't tell them what the true value of pi was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I've left out
Mm.
because I did something different from what Tesla did.
Yeah.
Tesla made the mistake of writing everything in Serbian or in English and all
Yeah.
of his notes so they can go and do his
They
stuff.
went and took it all.
When this came to me, I created an entirely new language
Oh wow.
for
and see, this why like it's for a second, like I done had the same information he got, I done had for like the past going on 2.5 years. Uh, and it's just like I've been skeptical about putting it out, and I'm one of them. I'm all about each one teach one. You feel what I'm saying, and not withholding information is part of the reason why I even became a Mason, and you see what I'm saying, and just to gain knowledge that my people couldn't get. You know what I mean? Which and finding out that I had already knew more than them motherfuckers swear they could give me, which is crazy. They ain't no shit. When you get if you ever get into one of those organizations, they don't know shit. They only know so much. You know what I'm saying? They if they ain't teaching this, they don't know shit. Put it like that. Yeah, like I was just like you said, I was just skeptical to put this shit out because you never know who is gonna want this shit for the wrong for all the wrong reasons. Because this, like I said, this is detrimental information. This ain't just that type shit that's gonna get you clout on your YouTube channel. The understanding and real breakdown of this information, you could have people walking around with superhuman abilities. You feel what I'm saying? And that's pretty much what he's talking about. Is if you're listening, you tie everything together. He's basically give you the secret to how the Neuralink works. You feel what I'm saying? And it has everything to do with tapping into the ether. You see what I'm saying? With this Ethernet, the internet, the Neuralink, all it is tapping you, linking your DNA into this artificial DNA matrix that they have created with this Ethernet, with this the artificial etheric field. So they're connecting your real spirit with their artificial spirit called the Neuralink, and they do this by creating artificial plasmas or acids. You see what I'm saying? That's just like your alkaline acids that record your DNA. That's what your DNA is made of. It's made out of alkaline um, or alkaloid. You know what I mean? Which is the type of acid, a clean acid, and of course with the foods and stuff they give us, they dilute or what I say, poison the acid, the natural acid that your body is contains and has your information, which is your genetic makeup. So they rupture your DNA, which is rupturing your database, your genetic coding. You see what I'm saying? By poisoning your acids. So they got this game. I'm gonna show you a little joint in this game where they're talking about. I'm gonna show you a couple of videos. One is it's gonna be about the Neuralink, and the other one is this game called Atomic Heart, where they basically showed you the capabilities and applications of what a Neuralink could do, which is like I said, superhuman abilities and things like that, of that nature. And they put it in the video game. And then like what's crazy is about this video game is the everything that's all the technology within this world that this video game is in is ran off of plasma. You see what I'm saying? Plasma is the driving energy force in this world. It's kind of crazy how they put it in video games and in real life. Uh, yeah, let's tap into that.
Neuralink starts with a surgeon drilling a hole in your head about the size of a coin. Then a robotic arm carefully inserts the ultra thin, flexible threads into your brain. These threads are finer than a strand of hair and are equipped with electrodes that directly interact with the cells in your brain. This implant is capable of interpreting your thoughts and applying them to real life actions.
See this right here. This is that Neuralink thing that he got like on his hand. And this is if you ever play like the Bioshock games. Basically, what this is in the future. You know what I mean? They have these well in Bioshock it was like these drinks or something you could drink and it would give you like super abilities. You see what I'm saying? Well, on here it's basically a technology that taps you in. The Neuralink is basically what it is. It's not that name, but I'm telling you the technology is exactly what they explained in the previous video. And based off the information that you, based off it would be like these different drives you could put into the Neuralink, and it would give you the abilities. So basically, all it is uh, the data to give you the coding those elements. You see what I'm saying? The potential of those elements, just like what we was talking about before. This gnat is fucking torturing me. As a Neuralink, he's using telekinesis, all kind of things. Once he taps into that Neuralink, so now he has freezing abilities. This is the part I kind of wanted y'all to see. This is that plasma that I was talking about. He's gonna like jump into it, and this is what you go through to like navigate through the different parts of the boards within the game and stuff. So this would be equivalent to your ribonucleic acid or your DNA. You see what I'm saying? Which is the information in this plasma. They kind of merge the two together with the ether and the plasma being one thing, which is not far fetched. Kind of depending on the state of this cycle.
Canister filled. Please eject the canister.
All right, pretty much get the point. Just wanted to show y'all that. Yeah, man. So this shit is real, bro. Everything he's talking about is world changing. You know what I mean? Let me go back to
Astronomers have discovered a cosmic superbubble surrounding the sun and our solar system, which spans 1,000 light years across. But what exactly is this thing? Long ago, when stars in our local area in the Milky Way galaxy would go supernova, dense gas was pushed outwards into the cosmos. As time went on, other stars in close proximity also went supernova. Those enormous clouds of gas combined, creating what's now known as the local bubble. Our sun, along with our entire solar system, just so happened
last should be first, first should be last. See, they're talking about suns going supernova, and this etheric field is the byproduct or the remnants of those suns. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I previously said the sun is going to have all the information of all the elements, you see what I'm saying, within that realm. So when they explode or they go supernova and they end up in the etheric field, now that etheric field now has traces of all those elements that was within that sun, and it can make up new forms of life. You see what I'm saying? Or new planets. And that's what they're about to show you that is happening, because all the new planets that we see or new stars that we see or clusters that we see are on the edge of this etheric bubble or this etheric field. Fucking that.
to drift through this local bubble as it was making its way around the Milky Way, and we currently sit almost exactly in its center. On the edges of this bubble, gas will condense and create many star-forming regions in our local area, but our solar system residing directly in the middle of this bubble may explain why star-forming regions in space are so far away from our little blue planet, as stars will only form on the edge of this cosmic superbubble.
What they're basically telling you in that video is, like I said, on the outskirts is where you're going to have the building blocks of every solar system, because the etheric field, like I said, is a remnant of a sun that comes from a higher realm, a higher dimension, and all these are different just pressures. And then you heard him say, well, this matter becomes dense and forms planets. So all we're talking about is just different pressures. See what I'm saying? Expanding and contracting and becoming tighter pressures, and you see what I'm saying, and releasing the pressure. That's all this is. So when you think about it, when you get up to the highest realms, you see what I'm saying, the highest states of expansion. That's why these etheric fields are expanding, going further than what the sun can, because of its nature. You see what I'm saying? It has a nature of like gas because it's microparticles of what the sun was, reminiscence of the sun. So you know what I mean? It just makes perfect sense. It's kind of self-explanatory when you see what's happening. This damn net is like torturing me. I'm gonna show you one more video on the bubbles.
Scientists at NASA have made a groundbreaking discovery that has left the astronomical community stunned. They've discovered a massive bubble of charged particles surrounding our solar system. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. This bubble, known as the heliosphere, is the largest structure in the solar system and is believed to protect the Earth and our entire solar system from the harmful cosmic rays. The discovery of this cosmic bubble will provide valuable insights into the workings of our solar system and the surrounding universe. This is only the beginning of our journey to uncover the secrets of the heliosphere, and we're excited to see what else we can learn. This is a historic moment for NASA and the world of astronomy, and we can't wait to see what other mysteries the universe has in store for us.
So yeah. So the secrets of this heliosphere that they're talking about, Terrence just exposed. So there are no more secrets. The heliosphere that they're talking about is this etheric field, which is the building blocks of what we call reality. You know what I mean? I won't say the universe because depending on what universe you're in, the properties of those building blocks could change. So you know what I mean? So yeah, the building blocks of your reality, how you perceive it, are right there in that etheric field. And what they told you in that video is protecting you from the cosmic rays of the sun. What this means is if the sun, this is your bubble, your etheric field, the sun is here, it's the planets, right? It's your planet, etheric field, solar system, got some other planets here. They're on their own orbits, whatever. Earth's on its orbit, on its orbit, on its orbit. You got all this going on, right? And then you got the Nibiru on their crazy ass orbit, but they're closest to the etheric field, which means they're gonna get the most intense cosmic rays hitting them. Now you see the explanation of why they had to put gold in their atmosphere because gold reflects sunlight. See what I'm saying? And that's why they needed gold in their atmosphere. See what I'm saying? Save them from those harsh cosmic rays while they're going on their orbits on the outskirts. See what I'm saying, of the solar system. Makes sense. So they didn't just need that gold for their atmosphere; they needed it for the etheric field around us. You get what I'm saying? Now, this etheric field, like I said, is going to hold all the information needed to make up life within that etheric field because it's getting all this potential energy from a sun, all this data, all this information of what exists or what can exist here from this sun in a higher dimension. Now you have this sun within a whole nother sphere in its own bubble, and so on and so forth. And as you raise in frequency, you start to merge every time. You see what I'm saying? With one of these new states of existence or new, what we call heavens, what we know as heavens or new spheres. You're just coming in frequency of that, or then come responded. So where these two solar systems are meeting up at in that flower of life, that would be that intersection of that flower of life. See what I'm saying? On so forth and so forth. It just keeps going on a micro and macro level. When you see suns, okay, those suns, those planets that you see will eventually become suns, right? And those planets came from what came from the etheric field, which got all this information from a sun. So now you see the full cycle of life and how the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning and nothing is insignificant of the next thing. You see what I'm saying? because it's all one. It's all going through the same cycles, the same process, and everything is everything. Because it's about the potential of things. You see what I'm saying? What you have the potential to be. Because that's what the universe is. It already is. So everything that you're not is the universe's potential. Put it like that. Everything that you're not is the potential of the universe. When I say everything, I mean everything. That's the potential that the universe has. So just keep that into perspective. All the far-fetched shit you think you're impossible of doing or incapable of doing, uh, that's your potential. That whole gap that you feel is unfillable of because of your belief and you see what I'm saying, the capabilities of what you can do, that gap is your potential. So just think what you really can do and how much you haven't lived or experienced. In terms in reference to what I just said, we haven't even fucking moved yet. That's why they say we're still asleep. We haven't moved. You understand? So it's time to get up and get moving, man. It's one thing to be woke, but it's another thing to be coherent. You know what I mean? Some people are woke, but they ain't coherent than a motherfucker. So yeah, man. Definitely a good joint. Like I said, this information that he got, bro, it's the key. That's why I understand why more people aren't talking about it. He should be in every seminar, every gathering y'all have that y'all want to go sell merch at and sell your t-shirts, your Patreon shit. This shit should be talked about in all those gatherings, podcasts, streaming, every platform should be talking about this. But this is it. This is your existence. So just say that, man. It's God knows. Try me to reason your mind escalate. That's what I'm out here for, man. Just trying to escalate minds higher than mine so they can pull me up. You know what I mean? That's it, bro. Because it's information that when it come out, it's gonna spark something in somebody that's gonna see a different perspective that I'm not seeing. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And that's the whole purpose of it, of us putting it out, not to debunk or devalue anybody that already got something out there or got a perspective out there. It's that we can keep growing on each other and just seeing the full scope of things until all the bubbles within that flower of life become one big ass bubble that we call existence or universe, the universe, the one, the all. So that's it, man. Shout out to everybody that's doing their thing, that's spreading this information. Protect Terrence Howard at all costs. Billy Carson, appreciate you. Yeah, man, it's time, man. I'm gonna keep reiterating on this. Like I said, I'll beat the dead horse. Uh, when it's in the grave, I'm gonna dig it up and beat it some more. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's always a new perspective that's gonna come about, and it's always a new perspective uh, that conjures a new question that has to be answered. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't think of you don't have all the answers because you haven't thought of all the questions. If that makes sense. So it's best that we get out as much information as we can so the right questions are being asked so that we fill the gaps. You feel me? So I hope this drives somebody to ask more questions so it helps me dig in my bag and just affirm what my mission is. So peace, man. Peace, love, prosperity. Y'all keep up what you're doing in the fight to spread this knowledge and bring home our leaders. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The chiefs. You feel me? If you know, you know. Of course, I'm talking about Dr. York, Larry Hoover. You know what I'm saying? Brother Jamal, all of them, man. It's time for us all to put this shit under one roof, under one belt, and win this war. You feel what I'm saying? Finish these motherfuckers off because it's over. You know what I'm saying? Especially with shit like this coming out that need to be put on the forefront. It's over for these motherfuckers. So let's put it out, man. Love y'all.